we are in an authenticity epidemic, which is a lack of self-awareness that is disguised as self-expression. So when people say things like be yourself, it's one of those statements that really does come from a good place, but from a less understood point. Because to be yourself is not to express without filter. It is to recognize the depth and complexity of who you are, integrating who you've become, and expressing what is needed for who you see yourself being. To be yourself is not to make all parts of you visible to everyone, everywhere, and every context. The reality is, in as much as that seems authentic, it's really inconsiderate and inauthentic, because you cannot place the burden of processing your complexity on others who may not have the capacity, the context, or the consent to hold or receive it. And so it's essential that in whatever context, when you choose to be yourself, you've got to be sure that your definition of that fact is actually anchored within the wisdom of that idea. Because many people are not being themselves, right? They simply mastered how to externalize their unprocessed psychological material, how to function from dysfunction. They're simply functioning from their current level of awareness, not necessarily the truth of their design. So it may look like wisdom or boldness. It may look like vulnerability or strength. It may look like empathy or assertiveness. It can be defined as competitive advantage. It can even be leveraged as a system for distinction, celebrated and rewarded within cultures and institutions that mistake intensity for depth. We see that all over social media. Now, this is what even makes it all the more difficult to confront it for what it truly is, because I think that we are in an authenticity epidemic, which is a lack of self-awareness that is disguised as self-expression. So the real call isn't just to be yourself, but to become responsible for who that self truly is, to do the internal work required to know your design, to discern what part of you is ready for expression and how, and to bring it forward in ways that is true, is timely, and is wise, because self-expression without self-awareness is not authenticity.